Hi guys, hope everyone is getting ready to do this exercise with me. I will make a quick review of the last material, so open your book page 298. Let's start with the first one. The first one or the first statement gives you two options, fewer or less. You know that if you want to choose between these words, you have to look at the following word. We have the word cases, and you know that cases ends with s, so it's countable. So in this case, you have to use fewer, not less. Fewer cases, fewer students, fewer doors, fewer, for example, flowers. Number two, I try to learn or teach. You know the difference between these two words. So in this case, you have to use teach, not learn. Number three, I see, okay, where or that. You have to know that never use where instead of that. Next, somewhere or some words, of course, somewhere because it's wrong to use this with words. So you have to say somewhere, not some words. Than or than. Of course, you have to use particle than because we have here longer. Comparative form, longer than, younger than, smaller than. You know this rule. Next, you know that when you use the word etc., you have to use it alone without and. So this construction is wrong. Next, hadn't ought or ought not. Of course, you have or you don't have to use ought with hadn't, so it's wrong. Next, without or unless. You have to know that without is a preposition, so you have to use nouns after without, not subject and verb. So in this case, you have to use unless because unless joins it closes with subject and verb. Unless I talk, unless I played, unless they cooked. But without, okay, is followed by a noun. Without her sister, for example. Someone must have or of course you have to use have because with models there is no rule to use of after the models, okay, like must, could, should. So you have to use have, not of. Never use of after models. Must have, could have, should have, not of. Here we have Lewis Latimer discovered or invented and improved. It's clear that you have to use invented, not discovered, okay. Now, let's move to page 300. The new topic here is the double negative. Double negative means using two negative words in the same sentence. Okay? So, on page 300, guys, the double negative. Now, you have to know that double negative is wrong, is non standard. This chart lists all negative words or the most common negative words in English, like barely, never, none, nowhere, only, scarcely, not, no one, never, no, nobody, nothing, hardly, but, which means only. The case here tells that never use two negative words in the same sentence. Okay, so double negative is non-standard. It's wrong to use. Okay, now look at these examples. For example, non-standard means wrong. Standard means correct. Jade wasn't, but wasn't, not is a negative word, but also is a negative word. So you have to avoid or you have to cross one. Okay, you can cross not or but. So you can say Jade was but a child then. Look at the second example here. We hadn't scarcely. Not is a negative word. Scarcely is a negative word. You have to delete one. You can delete not or you can delete scarcely. So in this case, you can say we had scarcely, and you can say also we had scarcely. Sorry, we had scarcely, or you can say or you can cross out scarcely by saying we hadn't enough time. It's okay. So you have to cross one. There isn't no reason to be nervous. You can say there is no reason or isn't any reason. Okay, so you have to correspond. For example, if you move to exercise 8, okay, you have to revise the double negative here. The boy hadn't never been the boy hadn't never been in an airplane. Okay, so you have here two negative words, not and never. So in this case, you have to delete one. Okay. So in this case, you can cross out never. The boy hadn't been in an airplane. Okay. Next, let's move to number two. After a lazy summer, Pat can't hardly jog a mile. So we have two negative words here, double negative words. So in this case, you can delete not or hardly. So you can say here, Pat can't jog a mile. Okay. Three, she was sleeping so soundly she didn't hear nothing. We have two negative words, didn't and nothing. In this case, you can keep didn't and you can change nothing to anything. Okay. Number four, here we have didn't and none. So in this case, also you can keep didn't and you can cross out none and write any, for example. Okay. Move to, for example, number five. We have not and never. You can cross out never. Okay. So this is the whole explanation of the double negative. Now, guys, move to page 303. Non-exist language. I think that this topic is new for you. Okay. So non-exist language. What does it mean? Non-exist language is language that applies to all people in general. You know that humans are divided into male and female. Okay. Non-exist language. Okay. Refers to all people. Okay. So in English, you have to use non-exist language. Okay, to refer to male and female, because gender specific just refers to maybe male or females. Okay, so in English you have to use non-exist language, not gender specific. Why? Because non-exist language refers to both males and females. Okay, for example, avoid or stop using businessman, you have to use executive or business person. Don't use chairman, you have to use chairperson, for example, or chair alone. Don't use common man, you have to use ordinary people. Okay. For example, don't use congressman, you have to use representative. Delivery man, delivery person. So in English, you have to use non-exist language, not gender specific. For example, let's move to page 304 and look at exercise 9. Rewrite each of the following sentences to avoid using gender specific terms or awkward expressions. Look at exercise 9. The weatherman. Okay, if you move to the chart in the previous page, okay, and look at the last one. You know that weatherman is gender specific term, so you have to change it into meteorologist. Okay, so you have to cross out weatherman and you have to use meteorologist. Okay, meteorologist. Okay, so again, guys, in this case you have to cross out weatherman and you have to write meteorologist instead of it. Let's move to the second example here. A chairman is in the office, so you have to stop using chairman and you have to use a chairperson, because if you go back to the chart in the previous page, okay, you have to use chairman, not a chairperson. Sorry, you have to use a chairperson, not a chairman. Okay, next page. Mankind, you have to use humanity, for example. Common, you have to use ordinary person. So this is the point of this topic. You have to use non-exist language, not, okay, not gender specific. Okay,